it go? Did anybody get a little quieter? A little more still in the body? A little sweeter? Good. Good.
Yes, until the interruption.
That was interesting.
Yeah. It always amazes me how I can be so calm and in that zone, and then can turn to murderous rage in an instant.
It's great, right? That's the pain in the body. Gets very quickly activated, likely feeding or feeling or sensing energy off of another, reading into the, likely there's a sensitivity in your system that's feeling other energies. And there's this pain body that shows up to kind of eclipse the moment and boot up a program and tell a story. And that's the captivation of the mind. It's very captivating. It's very eclipsing. It's amazing. It's so, in a way, juicy to notice how profoundly eclipsing it can be. Nevertheless, that quietness is still here. It just takes a moment to get back to it. To get back into it. But, in a way, there's kind of a sacred container, and then something comes in that's not carrying that same energy. There may be habitual traumas in your system of that type of scenario unfolding. Something safe, something sacred, something precious, and something coming in with a different energy, shifting that for you, building up these traumas in the system that we call a pain body, that are just like buttons to be pushed as soon as this continues to happen. So we can be so compassionate with ourselves for that anger that could come up and want to defend the space or defend your sweetness or the sacredness that came in.
I had to give myself a pep talk.
Yeah.
For about 5 minutes, like, you're not in your own business, just,
Yeah.
chill, it's over.
Yeah. Ultimately, it'd be worth meeting that pain right in the source, right in the physical place in the body. It's going to have a physical stabbing or some kind of energetic sensation. And ultimately meeting that with stillness and doing some unwinding will allow it to unwind out of the system. Because as you noticed and as you're just saying, like, it's responding so reactively and so intensely. That's how you know this is older than this moment. It's got a history that's booting up, and in order to unwind the history out of the system is to meet it with deep compassion, a loving touch. So yeah, compassion, a very compassionateness for wanting no interruptions. Wanting to be allowed to just be quiet.
I think practicing it with, the smaller problems sort of helps you build that ability to go back into that and watching yourself do something different. So what I find is when you try to do it for like smaller things, just regular things, right?
Mm-hmm.
You say, okay, I'm drinking a cup of tea, so you're watching yourself drink that cup of tea. So that sort of helps, and again, I'm new to this, but I'm trying to get to that stillness that you talk about and the awareness. It's not easy. It's very difficult. But what I sort of try, like even when I'm driving, right? So you watch the road, but then I sort of look at it, okay, I'm driving and I'm watching the road. That kind of, and I'm not thinking it. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm trying to.
So, but let me frame it for a second, because you're specifically trying to do something. So you're practicing something in order to do it.
I'm trying to get to the place where I'm more aware of my, like, just, like, you know, my thoughts are running at 100 miles an hour. So I'm trying to figure a way to, like, you know, go back into, like, sort of be more calmer and silent.
Okay, so you're trying to be calm and silent.
Yeah.
Okay, so in order to, so a technique you found in order to be calm and silent is to start on small things.
Small thing.
And see, so in this practice, like what we were just talking here, it wasn't in order to be calm. Like that wasn't actually that practice. Like she's not doing a practice in order to be calm.
Okay.
And in order to be quiet. It's that way. It's to meet whatever arises with compassion.
Oh.
To meet what shows up, because life shows up. However, if you would like to be calm in each moment, then I think that's a really good technique. However, as a teacher, I would say ultimately it's not a great end game, because life, that's still mental. It's still a mental game, right? A position. I want to have this position. I want to be calm. I want to be quiet. And it's the same position that's over here that's saying I'm busy and my mind's going 100 miles an hour. Outside of either of those positions, there's something else. And it isn't really a matter of being in this story or being in this story. It's a matter of how do we meet, what else is here that meets our lives. So busy, we didn't have to stop busy mind. We just moved our awareness into the sensations, right? We didn't need to, and I'm just saying this, which may be what you're doing, but there's a lot of people, so I'm kind of speaking for the bigger piece of that, wanting to shift something in order to look like something else, which is a very challenging end game, because life is too spontaneous.
True.
And that level of control will recreate the same story over here. So here, there's this mental activity, so to put a kind of control on it and hold it in this calmness, to be so calm all the time, no matter what comes up, you know, another mantra, another story, another, oh, I just lost my contact. Another, you know what I mean? Like it's a tough end game. And I totally get that that's sometimes what it feels like. But it's the bigger, more accessible right now game is what else? Is like, what else is available than just being captivated by the mind? So when we're driving, and there's some kind of story running, some captivation, it's like, what else is here? And what else is here is like the road, the car, the body. But to define that it needs to be a certain state, or you need to be in a certain state, is to just ever so slightly want to control something that's ultimately the same effort that the mind is. So really kind of allowing ourselves to be ourselves, and what is the space that welcomes that, and allow, and in that is a little bit more. So this mind story could go in the morning in the car, and we could move our awareness into the breath, into the sensations of the car. I promise you, stillness is not a very good driver. It doesn't see the road very well. It makes really crappy decisions. There's been a lot of times where silence has descended on me and I've had to pull the car over because it doesn't drive very well. It's very good to be aware of the road and other people in it. It's also very good to be aware of what's spinning here when we're in it. But to bring that compassion and to bring that willingness helps us access, there's more here. There's more here. So in this situation that was arising is like this noticing of this rage, which was what you were saying. I noticed this rage. suddenly arising that's so eclipsing and so captivating. And it's not in order to not be raged and not be what is arising, because the mind wants that. That's from the mind's point of view. The reality is what is that rage? It's trauma in the system. What does trauma in the system need? Generally it needs a hug. Mostly it needs compassion and some love. And it's like getting into that wholeness of who you fully are, so to speak. Yeah. Not a management program, but a recognition of your true full nature, which is welcomes rants, welcomes screaming fits. It even welcomes eclipsing mental stories. It's just, and there's more, because when we're stuck in that one place, it's really painful, which is the same as stuck in calm, you know, it's that same mental grip in a way. Yeah, and life is, right? We don't get to control if someone sort of wanders in oddly with whatever energy and wanders out. In the same way, we don't get to control our responses to it, you know, or what's moving inside of us. It's the mind that would like to control all that. But life doesn't. Life includes all of it. Includes it. So this is, you know, December 23rd, 2013. It includes these bodies, those bodies. It includes whatever's happening. It includes bizarre interruptions. You know, it includes all kinds of energy, like this is it. And we would be in a really challenging position if we wanted it all to be something else. If we wanted it all to be whatever it is the mind wants it to be. Instead, how do we meet it all? And especially and primarily ourselves, and how we arise, and what's moving for us. Because also sometimes what moves for us is so much judgment, you know, about not being calm, or not being quiet, or not being still. And we don't want to feed that. We want to embrace that compassionately. And ironically, in that embracement, it tends to calm it down, but it's not in order to do that. It's in order to acknowledge life moves. And it's a mystery to us, as much as anyone else. And how we show up in any moment is such a mystery to us. We have no idea what's going to show up. It's just this, like, it's just always going off in some direction. So ultimately it's how does everything that moves inside of me and externally in this world, in the outside world, what else? How does it get met? Versus wanting to shape it into something specifically.